Welcome back to Bazaar Morning Call. It's going to be a very strong start to trade today. No two ways about that. Our research team is standing by with a list of top 10 stocks for the day. And no surprises that HDFC Bank is definitely the top stock to watch. Abhishek is here to give us the latest on that. Abhishek, good morning.
Good morning, Sonia. So, to begin with, HDFC Bank has released its June 2024 shareholding, wherein the FI holding has fallen below the 55% mark. So, June shareholding does indicate that the FI holding in HDFC Bank has fallen to 54.8%. This provides opportunity for their weight increase in MSCI. So, the FI holding had fallen before 55.5% for MSCI flows. So, HDFC Bank can see an inflow of around $3 billion to $4 billion. Now, FI headroom slipping below 55% creates a headroom of another 25% over here. That is what analysts are saying. Now, foreign investment ceiling in HDFC Bank is at 74%. Just an alert to our viewers. Now, IFL Alternate Research has written that in August 24 review, they expect the weight to increase in a single tranche. So, they expect the stock to gain close to 4 to 6% further in the run-up for the weight increase due to this event. Back to you.
All right, Abhishek, thanks a lot for that. That's going to be the big stock to watch in today's trading session. But let's hop across to Mangalam. He's here. He's tracking Avenue Supermarts as well as V-Mart. Morning, Mangalam.
Good morning. So we have, the updates coming in for both D-Mart and V-Mart. Let's start with D-Mart. It's a good update that has come in. 18.3% growth in standalone revenues, closer to around 13,700 crores. The standalone revenue CAGR over the last 3 years has been around 18.2%, so this is pretty much in line. The company has added 6 stores in the first quarter, total at 371 stores. And if you look at the stores year on year, it's an addition of 13.5%, implying there could be about 5%, 5 to 6% same store sales growth. So then the key to track would be product mix, the gross margin trend and performance of their e-commerce business, because that comes in the consolidated business. Remember, the company had told CNBC TV18 that their goal is to add new stores and also, look for moats in the e-commerce business. As far as V-Mart is concerned, remember last year was a weak one for them, but this one started really well. A 16% overall growth in the revenue for the company. V-Mart itself has grown at around 17%, whereas LimeRoad has seen some rationalization with a decline of 29%. Same-store sales growth for V-Mart has been about 12%, for Unlimited stores at around 8%, and they've added 7 new stores, closed 3. So the stores that they've added are V-Mart, and the ones that they have shut are Unlimited, which has lower margins. So all in all, positive for both D-Mart and V-Mart.
All right, V-Mart and D-Mart both. Mangalam, thank you very much for that. Well, more business updates. M&M Finance and Yes Bank. Abhishek, back to you.
Well, Prashant, to begin with M&M Finance, the business momentum looks to be on the weaker side, while the stress has actually increased for them. So they have given out details with respect to disbursements that they have for the month of June, which is up just 2.8% YOY and decline of 1.35% month on month. Remember that in June of 2023, they had disbursements growth of 13.3% YOY and about 2.5% month on month. In Q1 FY25, the overall disbursements are down 16.6% quarter, seasonal in nature, but higher than what they saw in Q1 FY24, when the decline was about 11.7% sequentially in total disbursements. Collection efficiency has dipped to 95% versus 96% month on month. Total asset growth has slowed down a bit, 22.6% YOY and 3.7% quarter on quarter. Asset quality has deteriorated, 20 basis point increase that they have seen in gross NPA ratio in Q1 versus Q4. Last year, same time, their asset quality had actually improved and seen 14 basis point improvement in gross NPA ratio. Stage 2 as well, that's increased massively by 110 basis point on a quarter-on-quarter basis, while in the Q1 of last year, they had seen an increase of just 50 basis point in stage 3. Back to you.
All right, Abhishek, thanks for that. Well, let's focus on a couple of mining companies. MOIL, the update that they came out looked quite good. The sales number has increased by close to around 14.5%, so thumbs up. Then production number as well is up close to around 7.5%, so good on both those two parameters. The company also says they continue with their exploration activities. In meter terms, it's up by close to around 49% on a year-on-year basis for the same quarter last year. So going with green on MOIL. On Hindustan Zinc, I'm going with the tinge of red out there. Remember, the float is very, very limited, only 2% in the market. But otherwise, on a quarterly basis, there has been a reduction. On a year-on-year basis, there's a mild growth if you look at the zinc as well as the lead production numbers. And silver, which is the key driving point, because silver prices were up. That, in fact, is lower both on a sequential as well as on a year-on-year basis. So going with the tinge of red on Hindustan Zinc as well. But as I said, float very limited out there. But Abhishek, coming back to you, tell us about Yes Bank.
Well, deposits declined on a sequential basis for the first time in last 8 quarters. While the loan growth is below the industry level, it's one of the best that you are seeing in last 21 quarters on a YOY basis. To begin with, deposit growth is at 20.8% YOY and a decline of 0.55% sequentially. In that, the CASA ratio has dipped a bit, about 15-17 basis point on a sequential basis. So it looks like much of the high-cost deposits might have shrunk in this quarter. Advances growth is at 14.8% versus 15-16% for the industry on a YOY basis, and it's up 0.9% sequentially. So credit deposit ratio has improved on a sequential basis, which could keep the net interest margin at a healthy level, or at see a small improvement on a sequential basis. Their LCR has also improved massively to 137.8% versus 116% in the previous quarter. Now LCR is liquidity coverage ratio. Back to you.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. So that is Yes Bank. Vamakshi is joining in with some other stocks that are in the news this morning. Vamakshi, over to you.
Well, yes, absolutely. Let me first start off with IEX. There's a business update coming in from this counter. In the first quarter, there were hot weather conditions. It meant bad news for us, but it meant good news for IEX, and that is because it led to an unprecedented surge in electricity demand. Volumes, that is the electricity volume in the month of June, surged by almost 25% on a YOY basis. The green market volume also doubled for IEX. Day-ahead market volume was up nearly 18%, and real-time electricity market volume was up nearly 20%. So overall, a good operational update coming in from IEX. Expect the stock to do well in the trading session today. But another stock that could do well is NLC India. They've reported an increase of almost 22% in the lignite production. They've also raised their coal production to 28.4 lakh tons, and this is an uptick of almost 35% on a YOY basis. And their gross power generation too is seeing an uptick of almost 10%. So good update out there as well. And lastly, let's focus in on KEC International. The stock is expected to open higher as the company has won new orders worth almost 1,017 crores in T&D as well as their renewable businesses. And with this order inflow, the year-to-date order intake now stands at over 5,000 crores.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. Here's a quick recap of our top stocks. Stocks with positive news flow. There's HDFC Bank, Avenue Supermarts, V-Mart Retail, Yes Bank, MOIL, IEX, NLC India and KEC International, while stocks with negative news flow, M&M Finance and Hindustan Zinc. Well, let's also get you a roundup of what's happening in the world of commodities. Brent crude, by the way, slow and steady, has been inching higher. It's now at almost $86 a barrel the last time I checked, but Manisha Gupta is better placed to give you all the action from the commodity markets overnight. Manisha, good morning.
Morning, Sonia. Well, yes, it's inching closer to 87 in the Asian markets right now, 0.5% of gains coming in for the crude oil prices. That is because the U.S. inventories have declined quite sharply by 9 million barrels in the previous week. Remember, this also is the U.S. Summer travel season, and the markets are anticipating a 5% increase in travel, and 4.8% of that travel could be coming in from car travel. So increased usage of gasoline is what the street is working with. Apart from that, the Hurricane Beryl has made a landfall in one of the Grenada Islands in Caribbean, but it will weaken as it enters into Gulf of Mexico. Remember, this is one of the initial hurricanes in the Atlantic hurricane season. There are 24 named hurricane storms right now, so this is going to be a busy and even a record hurricane season for that matter, and that is something that you'll need to keep an eye on. Apart from that, it also is about the OPEC June output, which is slightly higher from Iran and Nigeria, but the markets are anticipating that the rest of the OPEC countries will continue to cut their outputs as we get into 2025 as well, and that perhaps could be supportive. We have seen a stronger June and a stronger June quarter when it comes to crude oil prices, and the estimates for this quarter in sense of demand, estimate and prices are even on the higher side.
All right, Manisha, thank you very much for that. So, I mean, oil holding, I mean, not seeing a big move, but refusing to come off as well. More on that later. We take a break. Deven Choksi of DR Choksi FinServ will join in with specific comments on stocks. Lots to discuss. Stay with us.